Day 2.
その件に関しては、ショコラとバニラの意思を尊重したいと思います。ショコラとバニラがちゃんと納得したら迎えに行きますので。
Okay, I blanked out for a moment there. But yeah, Shigure is finally got through to Shigure. Was what she told me when I was finally able to get in touch with her. Without any margin of negotiation space, I was struck down. But Shigure, even if you say that, I don't think Chocola and Vanilla will.
ところで兄様、この妹目に今朝の愛のささやきを。
Don't make it sound like it's a daily ritual or something. In any case.
あ、すみません。お父様から呼ばれましたので失礼いたします。愛してますわ、兄様。ではまた。
Wait, Shigure. And like that, she's gone. Seriously? As the ruthless electronic buzz of the dropped call echoed, I stared at my cell phone. And here I thought I could sort all of this out if I could just talk to Shigure.
朝ごはんおいしいですね。ご主人様のご飯はいつでもおいしいですにゃ。ショコラ、ほっぺにケチャップついてる。
These two.
芸術的に可愛い。舐めてあげちゃう。ペロペロ。
They gotta, like, comment on every single little thing they do they? The catgirls in question were happily stuffing themselves with sandwiches. These sandwiches incidentally contained tomato, cheese, and lettuce. With an over-easy fried egg tucked inside all of that, it was a simple meal. Breakfast was pretty much like this. You two are definitely going home today, okay?
ご主人様はショコラたちといるの楽しくないですか？ショコラは楽しいですよ。もうそれは今世紀最大級に。昨晩はご主人だって結構お楽しみだったくせに。
Stop with the deliberately misleading words. I cited their happy-go-lucky mindset. I took the opportunity to fill their empty glasses with milk. The eating habits of catgirls were pretty much the same as those of humans, so that part was straightforward. Of course, what they like and dislike depended on each individual catgirl. In the end, I wasn't able to get everything put away yesterday. Today, I really do have to start getting ready for the bakery's opening too. That's why I don't have time to relax and play with you two. Be good girls and go home. I said that to them with a sandwich in my hand.
ここにショコラがいたら、ご主人様は迷惑ですか？
She put her sandwich down on a plate. And just like yesterday, she looked at me with upturned eyes. Yeah, it's a problem. I answered her clearly.
そうですか。そうですよね。
Her shoulders drooped more than before. The ears which sat atop her head drooped downheartedly too.
ショコラ。
Unable to make fun of anything, Vanilla could only look on with concern. The pain from last night pricked in my heart again. I tilted the already cooled coffee cup as my emotions dulled, unimpeded by my judgment.
それでも、ショコラは、ご主人様のところに。
Her usually always perky ears were drooping. Chocola was speaking clearly under her volition.
ショコラがいるなら、私もここにいる。
Twins, eh?
私もここにいたいと思う。
Vanilla's usually blank expression did not change. However, she showed me her strong determination. I don't remember Chocolate or Vanilla ever being this disobedient. That thought stayed at the back of my mind. But if I was going to be swayed by that, then I wouldn't have said this. That. Understood? Someone's at the front door.
ご注文ありがとうございます。ロイヤルウッドです。
Special delivery.
ご注文いただきましたティーセットの配達にお伺いしました。ではこちらお店の中に運んじゃいますね。こちらの段ボールで全部ですね。では間違いなければ受領書にサインをいただいてもよろしいでしょうか。
She smiled brightly and brought out the invoice along with a pen. Okay, let's see. I looked over the sales invoice I received once more. Somehow this doesn't look like what I ordered.
え、本当ですか？それは品物が違うということでしょうか？
No, the stuff I ordered is in here too, but I looked over at a pile of boxes inside the bakery. Inside of my tiny bakery was a mountain of boxes. A mountain! It was as if the inside of the bakery had had become completely made of boxes. As you can see, we don't need this much tableware inside the bakery.
すみません。すぐに本社に確認しますので、少々お待ちいただいてもよろしいでしょうか。
Special delivery, one mountain of boxes.
大変申し訳ございません。こちらのミスで別の注文書と混じってしまっていたようでして。水無月様の方もすぐにご入りようと思いますので、もしよろしければご注文分の食器を受け取っていただければと思うのですが。
Two orders in one? Accept this order. Huh? From all this? The mountain of cardboard boxes towered over everything. I was at a loss for words. Every box was of equal size. I wouldn't know what was inside each of them without opening them up. On top of that, looking at the sales invoice, I could see that they all contain expensive tea sets and tableware. And if I accept it all, it would be a lot of work to deal with all these new items. There are still things that need to be doing in advance of my bakery's opening, so I don't mind accepting these. But it's going to take a while to deal with all this.
もちろん私もお手伝いさせていただきますので、私も次の配達に行かないといけないですし。
Look, you don't need to put all this pressure on me. From the looks of it, yep, it would take 2 hours or more. But to have it redelivered would take double the effort too. That's right, I have a lifeline.
にゃにゃですか？
Transition.
猫ちゃんたち本当に助かりました。ありがとうございます。本当にありがとうございます。では私はこれで失礼させていただきますね。
Speaking of cats, I wonder where my cats are. I'm exhausted. I glanced at the table where we had finished organizing, lowered myself into a chair and relaxed my shoulders.
ご主人様、冷たいお茶です。どうぞ。
Thanks, Chocola. Don't mind if I do. I downed the cold tea in one gulp. Somehow or another, the light meal tableware had arrived. Soon, I really had to get the bakery ready for its opening. I did say I needed any help I could find, and I really did need help this time. I could sense the praise me aura coming from Chocola. She had a wide smile on her face, and was in a ready stance to receive my approval. Thanks. I couldn't have done it without you two.
ご主人様に褒めてもらっちゃったよ、バニラ。
Easily impressed.
柱の陰から見守ってた甲斐があったね。よしよし。ショコラ、ご主人様の役に立てましたね。やっ りご主人様一人じゃお仕事大変だと思うんです。ね。うんうん。猫の手でも存分に役に立つ。私たちがいなかったら、まだ仕分け続行中だと思う。
You're probably right. Hey, you two are getting a bit too close. They lean forward towards me for emphasis. I'm pretty damn sure I said that wrong again. It is true that without you two around, this would have been a real problem. But that's a different issue than the one from before. You two have to go back home. Besides, it's not like I could ask you two to work for me or anything, okay?
そうですか。やっぱりダメですか。
Her shoulders drooped along with her ears and tail. The enthusiasm she showed earlier had completely disappeared. She sighed deeply and looked disheartened.
お掃除でもしてきます。せっかくですし。
She trudged up to the second floor, still dejected. Chocola isn't an idiot. I knew she was pushing herself to be bright and full of energy. But even so, this wasn't something I was going to easily change my mind about. It was all the more with how much she cared for me.
ご主人、私たちがいたらそんなに迷惑？悪い子？
She spoke quietly in her usual way. Vanilla tilted her head as she asked that question. You two ain't bad catgirls, and that's why I can't have you stay here.
悪い子じゃないのにダメなの？
It's because you two are good catgirls that I can't allow it. She blinked as she took in my words. It was almost as if she was trying to peer inside my heart. She stared directly at me long and hard.
人って難しい。猫にはそういうのはわからない。好きならそばにいたい。少なくとも私はそう思うけど。
Vanilla.
ショコラのところ行ってくる。
And with those words, she went upstairs. The sound of her small footsteps slowly disappeared, and before long, I couldn't hear them anymore. Humans are hard to understand, huh? Inside the bakery, now devoid of anyone but myself, I repeated those words she just said to me. Now that I think of it, that's a pretty inconsistent way of thinking, isn't it? Cats do not understand that. Having heard that said aloud, I began to understand what it really meant. It must be pretty nice to live the simple life of a catgirl, huh? I pondered as I looked at the name of the bakery affixed to the window. With a bitter smile, I began to clean up the tea sets that had arrived earlier. Onwards.
Nekopara.
And Chocola broke the cup.
あれ？今日はあのたこ焼き屋がいない。
Looks like, yeah. Just like yesterday, we took a walk through the park in the evening. However, that food stand was nowhere to be found. It just so happened that no one was home on the day I decided to take the two cat girls home. I also happened to leave the house key behind. So, to make good use of time, I wanted to do some shopping before Shigure got home.
ごめんバニラ。
I'm starting to slur my words for a little bit. I don't know why.
なんだっけ？また旅だっけ？だいたいそんな感じ。
That isn't the right word at all. Chocolate, if you're tired, why don't we rest for a bit? Rest a bit.
あ、はい。少しだけ。
Oh, I need more sleep.
でも大丈夫ですから。心配かけてごめんなさい、ご主人様。
There's no need for you to apologize. She had a troubled smile on her face as she nodded. It was pretty clear why she wasn't in good spirits. That's why there was nothing I could really say to her. Well, there happens to be a bench over there. So why don't we rest for a bit?
じゃあ私、何か飲み物買ってくる。
I keep, like, editing the sentences that I'm about to read. I don't know why. Subconscious. OP. Ah, thanks. Something for everyone, okay?
了解。任された。
I handed Vanilla some change and offered the bench to Chocola. The constant sea breeze rustled the trees in the park. All that could be heard throughout the empty park were the quiet sounds of nature. I silently sat down next to the disheartened Chocola. Like the gently... Let me reset. Like the gently setting sun, time passed by slowly.
ショコラ、帰ります。
Her voice was so quiet that I wasn't quite sure if I heard it or not. Even so, she answered clearly. Without saying a word, I responded by gently rubbing Chocola's head.
たまには、ご主人様に電話してもいいですか？
Yeah.
また、ご主人様のところに遊びに来てもいいですか？
Yeah.
ご主人様は、ショコラたちのことは、ちゃんと毎日思い出してくれますか？ショコラは、離れてても、ご主人様って、呼んでても、いいですか？
Her voice trembled as she frantically wiped away her tears. She stifled her sobbing, and her voice became strained. She looked pained as she did her best to hold back her emotions, biting her lips. I held back my irresponsible words that were on the brink of coming out with all my strength. Yeah, of course I will. Oh, I hate crying. Not in a bad way, just in a way that I wish I could just calm them down. No matter what no matter how someone cries or something, I just wish that they could calm down a little, or maybe help them calm. Anyway. Oh, cringing. I was frustrated at myself for saying nothing. I was empty. I could only offer condolences that could not be put into words. I rubbed Chocola's head as gently as I could.
やっぱりご主人様は優しいですね。
I don't really think I'm kind at all.
ご主人様、前も同じこと言ってましたから。
Before? Chocola closed her eyes and smiled.
覚えてますか？ショコラとバニラをご主人様としぐれちゃんが連れて帰ってくれた時のこと。
Ah, of course I remember that. Story time. It was a cold day half a year ago. Chocola and Vanilla were huddled together, crying by the side of the road. They were still so young, they couldn't even speak yet. It was that day that I embraced their small, cold bodies and took them home with me. My left leg is shaking a lot, I do not know why. There was no way I could simply forget that important day when our family grew. In the beginning, you two really couldn't get used to things at home.
あの時は知らないお家で知らない人と猫ばっかりで怖くて。
You two wouldn't eat at all, which really worried Shigure.
はい、とっても心配かけちゃいました。
I started to hear a tiny bit of laughter in her voice as we... I am not going to attempt to say that, so remembered about the past.
ショコラとバニラが熱を出した時のことも覚えてますか？
Ah, I definitely do remember that. Back to the past. It was a few days after we brought Chocola and Vanilla home. At that point, they'd only occasionally drink some water. And as always, they didn't really touch their food. The combination of malnourishment and cold weather had really begun to weaken their bodies. They're so small too. They both developed high fevers and were in pain.
あの時は夜中で誰にも も気づいてもらえなくて。
Oh god.
とにかく苦しくて、辛くて、声も出せなくて、手も足も全然動かなくて、助けて、誰か助けてって思いながら、ただただ泣いてたんです。そしたら、
It's alright. I'm with you too, so don't worry.
ご主人様が大きくてあったかい手で、撫でてくれたんですよね。ずっとそばで、大丈夫、大丈夫って言い続けてくれて、ショコラとバニラのこと、撫で続けてくれてました。朝になって病院に行くまで不安で心細かったのが全部嘘だったみたいに。
Chocolate and Vanilla really remind me of the cats here. Both Pepper and Smooch. Both tabby cats if you're interested. Though one's a lot bigger than the
あ
other.
の時も同じこと言ってました。俺は別に優しくなんかないって。でもショコラたちはご主人様が助けてくれなかったらここにいなかったです。あの時ご主人様がそばにいてくれなかったら誰も信じられないままでした。ご主人様のおかげでご飯も食べれるようになりました。しぐれちゃんともみんなとも仲良くなれました。だからあの時からショコラのご主人様はご主人様になったんです。
From that one day, became master. Well, their master. Wonder what the world would be like if there were catgirls. Be certainly different, actually, I reckon.
ショコラはそれからずっと優しいご主人様のことが大好きなんですよ。
I wish that her tear-filled eyes would not spill over. Those tears were filled with anxiety, sadness, and happiness. She smiled all she could before me.
だからショコラはご主人様がいなくなっちゃうって聞いて、いても立ってもいられなくて、どうしても一緒に行きたくて、しぐれちゃんにお願いをしたんです。
She said that with the faintest of smiles, one that seemed as if it would disappear at any moment. Those words were so gentle and warm, but there was also an undeniable sadness and emptiness mixed in with them. Chocola. I was the one she was saying all this to. Even so, the only thing I could say back to her was her name.
お金のこととか難しいことはやっぱり猫にはわからないです。でもやっぱりショコラはご主人様のそばにいたいんです。ご主人様が辛くて大変そうなのなんとなくわかります。本当になんとなくですけど。
Okay.
お掃除でもお洗濯でもお料理でもショコラがお手伝いできることは何でもしますから。今すぐにはできなくても絶対にちゃんとできるようになりますから。だからもう一度だけお願いしちゃダメでしょうか。
All these favors.
ショコラはご主人様と一緒にいたいんです。
Chocolate voiced her feelings clearly once again, and barely kept her tears from overflowing. Which reminds me that is very hard to do. It may sound like meh and all that, but it's actually very hard to do. Chocolate, if you could be with me. I was engulfed by my inner thoughts which were ready to overflow. She yearned for me so earnestly. For her to so innocently believe in me. There should be no reason for me to be against it. That day, Chocola and Vanilla became an important part of my family. As long as they were with me, the days would be bright and enjoyable. I was simply selfish for just leaving home like that. Yeah, and kinda rude. I didn't want to get my dear family wrapped up in my selfishness, or have them experience any unnecessary hardship because of me. You two are important to me after all.
私たちは猫だから自分に素直なだけ
my inner conflict was disrupted by Vanilla. Vanilla had returned at some point, and she looked straight at me as she sat at Chocola's side.
私なら、楽しいことならショコラと一緒がいい。たとえ辛いことでも、ショコラと一緒にいたいと思う。だって、一緒にいれないことの方が、寂しくて辛いから。
That bond must be strong with you two. Like, very strong. Vanilla.
本当に好きなら、迷惑かけたって一緒にいたい。それでも一緒にいたいものだと思う。私たちが幸せかどうかなんて、いくらご主人でも、決めつけるのは違うと思うよ。それに、大事な人が大変なら、なおさらそばにいたい。
Vanilla has a point.
何ができるかはわからないけど、でも、辛い時にそばで励ますことくらいできるよ。
It was as if her gentle, warm, and soft smile had become the setting sun. Poetic. These uncharacteristic words from Vanilla deeply penetrated and seeped into my heart.
だからきっと、しぐれも私たちがご主人のところについていくのを許してくれた。
Shigure was really an accomplice.
しぐれはご主人と一緒に行くことはできないから、代わりにお願いって。
That confirms it.
だから、ご主人が本当にショコラのことを思うなら。
There was not even the faintest bit of hesitation. They were such honest and absolutely straightforward words. Who am I to dictate Chocola and Vanilla's happiness? Only those words continued to strongly resonate in my mind, which was otherwise empty.
たとえ何不自由のない暮らしでも、ご主人様がいないのは嫌なんです。いくら大変でも、ショコラはご主人様と一緒にいたいんです。だからお願いします。ご主人様のそばにいさせてください。ここが、ショコラがいたい場所なんです。
She was on the verge of tears, but Chocola's face lit up. They were nothing but absolutely pure, genuine words. Humans really at a loss for words when it comes to catgirls, huh? Saying no to the words was not something I could bring myself to do.
ご主人様、それって。
It won't be like it was back at home. You can't just live here however you like.
はい、大丈夫です。
Okay, my mouse went a little crazy there.
ご主人様がいるだけで、ショコラは幸せですから。やれやれ、ついにご主人陥落。いやよいやよも好きのうち。だね。
The love-hate thing. The dreary moment seemed to be blown away by her dazzling smile. Despite all this talk about family, perhaps I was the one that didn't really believe in it. Thinking about all this was from their perspective, it was very simple. Although, I thought it was all still so immature. Perhaps catgirls were more human than humans were when it came to honesty. Well, the evidence is right in front of you. From here on out, we need to do our best all together.
毎晩大トロじゃなくて大丈夫です。お肉も A4 でいい。松阪牛なら。脂身最高。
My friend keeps I think he's just having bad internet at the moment. Is that all you guys have been eating at home? Even if the road ahead of us is uncertain, I lovingly rub their heads, disheveling their hair. Alright, why don't we head back to the shopping district then?
なんでですか？お買い物はもう終わったんですよね。
We have to go buy that shampoo you guys liked, don't we?
おー、ご主人かっこいい。つ ついでに松坂牛も買おう。
Beef. Well, today is a celebration, so why not?
やったー、お祝いパーティーですね。ご主人太っ腹。さすがは私たちのご主人。
Just this once, okay? This was the beginning to a bright new life. And together with the happy and high-spirited Chocola and Vanilla, we took the first steps towards it. We now venture